Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. And Mike and Sam and I are happy to have Mike Broccoli with us. Mike is varsity coach of soccer at CHS. So,
yes.
Mike, you've been there for quite a while, boys soccer.
Yeah,
coach.
this is my 16th year.
Okay.
Boys soccer program. So,
yeah.
Had a lot of success over those 16 years.
we've done pretty well. We hold our own most of the time.
Yeah. What's the key to soccer? What's the best soccer player have? What attributes?
Well, you got to be athletic. Got to be a first start.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, soccer is pretty much a defensive game, especially when you start playing better teams. It's fairly hard to score. So you want good athletic kids playing defense, and what you really want to do is control the middle of the field, because it defends and it also pushes your attack. So a lot of times in soccer, your best players are your midfielders, and so that's probably the biggie, is getting good midfielders, especially when you start playing those more elite teams.
Boy, you run a lot in soccer.
Yes, they do. Yeah, I forget how many miles they run a game, but it's 7-8 miles a game. So
No timeouts in soccer, is it?
no, sometimes that's not a good thing. There's times we would love to be able to call timeout and bring them back over,
Okay.
but as soon as that whistle blows, those kids are on their own. We get yell from the sidelines, but yeah, there's no timeouts. So sometimes they have to figure it out on their own out there.
So how does substitution work then? They just run out and another player runs in?
They report to the center of the out of bounds, and then when the official sees them, then they will call them in.
Okay.
And they can only call them in. Your subs can only come in like when you have the ball. So they don't always get to come in on every dead ball.
Okay.
What about your experience as a soccer player?
Well, when I was in high school, there was no soccer.
Okay.
I can't remember what year. It was in the 90s when it started. I started off because my son started playing soccer when he was 4.
Okay.
So, you start playing soccer, nobody can coach him. You get volunteer to coach. Then I've been coaching soccer ever since. So I've been 16 years at the high school, then probably another 8 years of the youth leagues and things.
John Reynolds and Andrew Stein help you?
Yes, John has been with me for the past 15 years.
Okay.
And Andrew's been with me the last couple of years, which is a ex-player. And and Andrew was a midfielder for us. So he's been a lot of help, because he can actually, during drills, get on the field with them and drill with them when we feel like maybe they're, needs a little push. So he's able to get out there and play with them.
You and John can't do that?
No. No, we're not as quick as we used to be. John will every once in a while, but I'm pure coach. So
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about records. How are you doing?
This year we're 11-3-1. We have one more regular season game. It is against Batesville, which is a conference game. And if we win that, we play second conference for the second straight year with a 6-1 record. East Central's in our conference, so they went undefeated this year.
East Central than everybody else.
In
most sports.
So the last couple of years we've been pretty competitive. We lost against East Central 2-0 last year, and lost, I think it was 2-1 this year. We're competitive, but just can't seem to get over that hump with East Central.
Yes. In your 16 years, what's the best you've come out with? Any kind of trophies or anything? Have you won any conferences?
No, we tied. We had a 3-way tie one year, about I don't know 7-8 years ago. We had a 3-way tie we beat East Central, then we ended up getting beat by another team, and everybody had one loss. So 3 teams had one loss, so that's been the best. East Central probably has won our conference, I know, the last 5-6 years. So they're pretty dominant. They're actually in our sectional too, and they're probably the team to pick to win our sectional. I mean, if you had a straw poll with all the other teams that's in our sectional.
So are there 3 classes in
there's
soccer?
1, 2, and 3. We're in the big schools. We're in the 3A, and so most of the teams at high school isn't in the big division. Somehow Our girls soccer's in Division II. We're in 3. I think it all depends on how many boys team in the state and how they divide them up. And we was actually the last school in Division III, at least amount of enrollment. So we're hoping this year they will realign and maybe we'll drop back down to 2. But we've been in 3 for the last, I think, 6 years.
Tough no matter where you go, I'm sure.
It is, but it'd be nice. Our sectional's pretty tough, so.
Talk about who else is in the sectional.
They drilled sectionals last night. We play Greenfield Central Monday, 6 o'clock. If we win, we play New Palestine. Richmond's in it, Mount Vernon's, Shelbyville, and East Central's in our sectional.
So pretty tough.
Pretty tough, yeah.
Athletic schools.
Athletic and big soccer schools, yeah. So it's a pretty good draw. Couldn't ask for, I mean, New Pal's very good. They're probably like the second. It's hard to go by records because they're playing all big schools in Indianapolis and things like that. We play a lot of 1A, 2A schools in our conference, so sometimes we'll have a lot more wins than some of these teams. But if you go heads up, you know, we've competed with the Franklin communities, Richmond, East Central this year, so we feel pretty comfortable that we can compete, and if we play perfectly, we could actually win our sectional. So I wouldn't say that every year.
Well, that's good, and we need to be optimistic.
Where is the sectional?
It will be a New Palestine this year.
They have a good facility?
Yeah, they got a nice facility.
Turf or
They can play either. They have a turf field, and they play on their football field, or they have a soccer complex too. I think it depends on rain, and so they can go either or. I'm not for sure where we're playing at for sectional.
Which would you prefer?
We like the grass.
That's what you play on at home. Yeah.
Yes, and you know, turf is fast, and when you play these really good teams that has great, quick, speed, a lot of passing, you want to try to slow them down, and grass a little bit better than turf. So turf is a little bit faster pace of a game. So the boys like playing on turf, but we like playing the better teams on grass.
Most of those teams probably have turf that you mentioned, I would think.
Greenfield does. Richmond plays on their football team. Mount Vernon plays on their football field but has 3 grass fields. And Shelbyville plays on, I think they're grass, I think. And East Central plays on their football field. So, and they also have a soccer complex on the side that they can run tournaments and things like that.
After the sectional, where do you go the winter?
We go up north. I'm not for sure where that is yet.
Where could it be?
It'd be like Fisher's area, the big.
Okay.
It's usually the teams that win the state.
So you're
so
the donut counties.
yeah, Noblesville, those type of teams.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you fellows will do well.
Well, we'll give it a good shot.
Yeah. Have you had any of those teams on your schedule, Mike, this year?
Yeah, East Central are probably about the only team we play that's in this tournament. Yeah, East Central, like I said, we lost to them. But yeah, nobody else is on our schedule. We play some light teams like Newcastle and Anderson. They beat them, we beat them. So it's going to be a different. It'll be a competitive game.
You've had 3 losses on the season?
Yes.
Oh, and they've been to whom? I'm not sure.
East Central, Franklin Community, and we lost our senior night against Oldenburg 2-1. It was a little disappointing loss, but it was just one of them games.
You never like to lose on senior night, do you?
No, and especially against Oldenburg. Me and the coach goes a long ways back, so it's kind of like, oh. But it was a tough game. We controlled most of the game, but they ended up getting a PK for the winning goal. But they was 11-1 coming into the season.
Okay, so
they've had a very
good team.
They've had a very good year this year.
Nothing wrong with losing to a good team like that.
No, they're solid. So.
I'm sure your kids learned quite a bit in those kind of games.
Yeah, we like playing competitive games. We do a lot over the summer and play a lot of good teams over the summer. So make sure we're prepared when we come into this year.
How often do you practice?
Every day after school.
If there's no game, huh?
Yeah.
You practice when there's no game.
Yeah, it's a short season. I mean, it's only about 65 days when the school starts until now. Mm-hmm. So soccer is fall season is a little bit shorter season. Can't believe it's already over with one more game to go. So our seniors, I think, they have realized that. So.
How many seniors do you have?
We have 7 seniors this year. We actually, we're a veteran team. Mm-hmm. We start 6 seniors and 5 juniors. So we expected to be fairly good this year.
Sure.
So it's not a surprise. But like I said, we have 7 seniors. They're a key component to the team. So we'll miss them when they leave this year. So.
Do you have any that are going on to play at the next level that you're aware of?
I think Jasper Martin is wanting to play. Mm-hmm. I know he's getting some offers here and there. He hasn't really chosen a school yet. He leads our team in scoring and assist. He's one of our forwards. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know he's interested in Nolan Shaw. Mm-hmm. He's one of our midfielders, sure. Defenders, and he is too. But I don't think neither one has made a commitment yet.
Nolan's one of those kids. Plays on the football team and plays on the football team as well.
Yes, he does.
How does the football coach feel about that?
Well, he loves it. The football coach loves it. The other football coach is okay with it. Well, we've been having kids kick for him for years now. I always tell the kicker they're not allowed to make any tackles or anything like that, but they never listen to me. So
he's made a few.
He's been
taken down a couple times.
So. He's loving it, and he's doing pretty well. So,
that takes a lot of dedication, I think.
Because he'll practice
time-wise.
He'll practice with us, then go over there for, whatever time they have him there to kick. So,
he's doing a nice job there as well.
Yeah, we root for him.
Yeah,
I like giving him a hard time, but
as a soccer coach. Don't you suggest that he head for the sidelines as soon as he kicks the ball?
I'd like for him to, but
he sometimes stands around until the other team gets there. And
but
see what he can do.
He's competitive.
Okay.
And
well, as long as
as
you're happy with it, I mean.
No, he ain't been hurt yet, so.
Well, we hope not.
He tries to be smart on the plays.
That's good. Yeah,
so.
Yeah. He's an intelligent kid, so
right.
He knows. I think when it's time to go.
And I think Coach Lynch doesn't put him in situations where.
Sure.
So he's aware.
Right. Yeah, and I think he respects that.
Yeah.
But I would think if I was a soccer kicker and saw a 300-pound football team.
Might want to step away.
I would get out of the way. Yes.
Yeah.
Be like the Matador and step to the side.
Yeah. What about your reserve team? Your JV team?
We do have a JV team this year. We're really young. I think we have 10 freshmen and one sophomore, and we have a couple kids that will go down and play every once in a while. They've been having a rough time scoring, but been a lot of 0-0 games, 1-0 games.
Okay.
So they're about 500, but it's a really good group of freshmen, and being a lot. 10 is a lot in a class.
That sounds a lot for your coming programs, your future.
It's good. I don't know if you guys knew this, but we did start I did. And the school started a middle school program. Mm-hmm. So last year, I think when we talked, we've been wanting to push that, and they finally started a middle school, and they have a boys and girls team. I know the boys team has about 20 players, 7th and 8th graders.
That's great.
And they are playing. I've been to one game, but they kind of fall on the same days that we have games. But and Jeff Martin coaches that team, and so that's exciting for the program.
Yeah, to have that feeder at that level, and you've got the small kids out on Veterans Parkway there.
Yeah, they kind of play up to about 6th grade, and there's always that 2 years gap. But now, that seems to be working out so far.
That's great. And even though you say you don't get to see them much, I'm sure you kind of know what's coming at you.
Oh yeah, we let them practice with us over the summer. So we, it looked like we had huge turnouts because we had our high school kids there and 15, 16 middle school kids at practice. So yeah, I know most of them by their names and know where they play at. So
great.
Soccer's really popular, isn't it?
It's picking up. I know that the numbers has increased from last year to this year.
Yes.
Last night at the soccer draw, they had the state commissioner talking about the same, the increase.
That's good.
It's still increasing sport. So
A lot of youngsters participate, and that's the important thing.
right, and facilities are getting better throughout the state, and that's another reason.
We got pretty good facility here.
It's getting a lot better. We got new concession stand restrooms, which is really, really nice. New lights. We never had lights before, so it's very hard to play JV games because it'd get dark. So, you know, they installed a sprinkler system for our grass. The field held up very, very well this year, considering you got boys and girls playing on it, plus practice. So the field held up very well, and we got new goals this year also. So
Is that a problem working out time on the field because you have both boys and girls playing?
Coach Cooley and I, we have a practice field up by the vocational school, and we kind of take turns. We put a schedule out and take turns on who gets the main field and who doesn't. So
Well, both of you, I'm sure, are good to work with. So
I hope so. Yeah. No, we seem to get along okay with that.
yeah, great.
It would be nice if we would host a sectional at some time, soccer sectional.
Yeah, I'm not for sure how it works. I know since I've been here, we've played at Mount Vernon, Greenfield, New Powell is the only three places that we've played. Oh, and Shelbyville. So I don't know if they just take turns or maybe we just don't have the facilities to host something like that quite yet. All those places has a turf field and a grass field.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's maybe the reason why.
It could be, could be. Sam, the Spartan played football against Speedway Friday night at Spartan Field. It was not a good game for the Spartans.
It was a tough night. Speedway we knew was going to be pretty good coming in, although they were 1-4, and Coach talked about in the pregame that their record was not indicative of how they really play.
Yes.
And the Indianapolis schools, even though they're a smaller school and some of the teams they've played, I think the level of competition is a little higher. But the kids, I thought, played well and conducted themselves well after some penalties the week before, and it was good to see that that had been worked out, and they could be proud for the effort. And even though they gave up 30 points, I thought defensively they played better than we'd seen some. So one of those nights, Spartans fell 30-0, and I actually felt at halftime that you know, we were still in that game, and it's just a matter of getting on track and getting a score. And sometimes I think you get that first score, and then the other ones come because you can see that, yeah, you can score against this team.
It would have been a great win if it would have happened because it was Spirit Week at CHS, and there's a lot going on and a lot of enthusiasm.
It was. They'd had it was homecoming night, and had a nice crowd on hand, and it's just fun to see the spirit of the kids. They'd had the homecoming Olympics a couple days before that, and had a parade that night through town. It's great to see the parades are back. This town's always loved a parade. So I think the young people had a good time, and some of the old folks probably had a good time too, since it was homecoming.
Well, I'm sure they did, but they got a tough game coming up.
Yes, they do. We're going down to St. Leon on Friday night, and a programming note, that's a 7:30 start. So they always start a half hour later. I don't know why. We're fairly close to them, but the defending 4A state champions, East Central Trojans, and seems like no matter what the sport, they do pretty well down there.
They are a football school.
And they will have, if it's like years past, they will have from the Pee Wee League all the way up through varsity come out in the pregame on the field, and you can't see the green of the grass for the colors of the uniforms.
I know the entrance goes on and on and on of those young people coming out, running through the opening and lining up out there. And
But good for them. And you wonder where all these kids come from, because St. Leon is not a very big town. Of course, kids from Sunman come over at Sunman Dearborn schools, and just scattered around. I think, what's the name of that lake on down by Lawrenceburg? I think some of them may come north to play there. So there are subdivisions in that area. You just don't see them.
It takes in a big area, doesn't it?
It does take in geographically a big area, but. And it's the biggest school in southeast Indiana.
That's right. They
I think
they're
right up there size-wise with Richmond now.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure the boys will be competitive. Coach Lynch will have them ready to go.
Coach Lynch will, yes. And he still, he started last year, his first year, and they wear shirts. Their undershirts say respect on the back of them, and they want to give respect, and they want to gain respect. So. And I think they can by playing clean football.
Yes. TV3 was at the game, and here is some of the film from that ball game at Spartan Field, Speedway and the Spartans.
Yep, Speedway Spark Plugs, which I think is a great name for them. We went up there last year and enjoyed that. There they go in for their first score, but. They are landlocked up there. They really can't grow.
It's not a big community, is it?
It's not a real big community.
No, it's not.
But a place I like to go, I like going every Memorial Day weekend to the 500.
Right, they're noticed for that more than they are the spark plugs, but the spark plugs are doing okay.
They're doing, they're doing well. And there's the King and Queen presentation, and I believe the Queen's name is India Smith. The King slips my mind here. So at halftime, we were down 14 at halftime, and they were able to come back pretty quickly. Were the spark plugs, and had one more score left in them. It was 20 with 2:45 to play there. It was 22-0 still. And we were hoping, and there they take it in, we were hoping the Spartans, they'd not been shut out all season. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to get that goose egg. Maybe it's not hard to get it, it's hard to keep from getting it. And then it's hard
the point,
to have
yes,
it.
Right. But many schools, though, are shut out, so.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and we've been seeing some really lopsided scores.
Yes.
When you watch, I like to go home and watch the TV, Channel 13 or one of them that have the scores that night, and see some of the coverage that they have flying the helicopters in. I wish when we play these Indianapolis schools that they could fly a helicopter down here as well. So there's your final. Spartans follow the spark plugs 30-0.
Let's check sports this week at CHS. On Monday, the JV boys soccer will be at Greensburg. On Tuesday, tennis with Union County, girls soccer home with Franklin County. On Wednesday, the tennis sectional begins. I believe that'll be here at Connersville. We have a pretty good facility, don't we, Mike, for tennis?
Oh, yeah.
Relatively new, yes.
Yes,
people
really nice.
enjoy it. Yes, right. So that's coming up this week. It's hard to believe it. We're nearing the end of the season for fall sports, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Of course, golf's already, the regional's going on. But
Right. Wednesday, the tennis sectionals, we said, will be at Connersville, I believe. Thursday, co-ed cross country will be at an invitational. That'll be at Greensburg. Girls soccer will be home with Greensburg. Volleyball will be with Monroe Central. Boys soccer will be at Batesville, as Mike talked about. On Friday, girls golf continues to round one. Tennis sectional continues. Spartan football at East Central. On Saturday, boys JV soccer with Greenfield. Mike, it's kind of unusual to have not the varsity and JV playing the same time, but they're splitting up. There's a reason?
No, it was like a communication on our
noticed
part.
A couple of times one of the teams is playing and not the other
We went to play
one.
Greensburg, and they didn't think they were going to have enough players.
Oh.
And they did, and I didn't bring my JV with me.
Okay.
So they rescheduled that so the kids get to play.
Okay, so it depends on the size of the teams if they have enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes you only play a half.
Uh-huh.
I think they're playing a full game tonight.
What's the minimum you need to take?
25. You gotta have 25 on a team to play JV total, but we carry 12 to 14, depends who I give them, 12 to 13 players.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that was just one of those things where we wasn't for sure they had enough, so I didn't bring varsity. Then we get halfway there, and they called and said we can play. And JV half, I said, well, I didn't bring them. I didn't bring them. So they got a lot of games in this year. They got a double header down at East Central this coming Saturday. So,
Okay, that's good.
They've probably played 9, 10 games this year.
And why you always like to win, it's not so much about wins and losses at the JV level.
Not at that level. You just hope they get better. And just teaching them so they can contribute to the varsity sometime.
Mm-hmm. Here's the records of the area teams. Cambridge City is 1-4. They lost 62-8 to Knightstown. Centerville is 6-0. They won 32-14 over Northeastern. They're undefeated, of course, on the season so far. Union County is 0-6, losing 42-6 to Union City. Richmond is 1-5. They lost 49-29 to Muncie Central. Rushville is 2-4. They lost 26-14 they won 26-14 over North Decatur. Franklin County is 3-3. They won 26-24 at Greensburg. And the Spartans, as we talked about, 2-4, losing 30-0 to Speedway. So
that was a close one there.
The area.
Close one between Franklin County and Greensburg, 2-point game.
Yeah, 26-24. You don't see
that's
too
probably a fun game to watch.
I would think so, yeah. Up to the final minute or so, maybe, as to who's going to win this ball game. So, yeah, I'm sure that was exciting and everything. But it's been an interesting season so far.
Mm-hmm. Do you said you had several seniors. Do you have their names?
Yeah, I got their names. Ryan Naylor, he plays defense for us. Then a Caden Lakes, which plays outside midfield wing. And then Nolan Shaw, which also plays midfield and defense. Eli Slichty plays midfield for us. Miles Foreman plays defense for us. Then the coach's son, Nate Reynolds, plays wing for us. And then Jasper Martin, like I said before, plays our forward position.
Mm-hmm. Several familiar names there.
Yes, they've been.
Yeah.
I think most of us played varsity at least the last 2 years, and some the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good group of kids that it'll be hard to replace them, but we do got some young ones that should be a fill-in next year.
Next man up.
Next man up. We're trying to get like some of these bigger schools where you don't have down years. You just have next man up. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's great to get these freshmen and give them some experience early.
Right. So we do dress one freshman. We try to, dress, because I don't like dressing them if they don't get to play.
Mm-hmm.
But we put him in here and there just to get some playing time. But they get their playing time at the JV level right now.
Well, Mike, congratulations. You've had a lot of success as a soccer coach here at CHS.
Well, I appreciate it. It's been a lot of work, and just glad my wife let me, allow me to do that. So it's been fun.
That's who you have to check with, huh?
That's who I have to check with to get permission. So
I understand.
yeah, because we play. I mean, we play. We usually take off. As soon as we get beat in the tournament, we usually take that off until about March after spring break, and we go back in. And we play all summer, and we work out, practice a couple times a week, lots of scrimmage games, camps. So it's takes some time.
Well, it urge the fans to stop by and watch you guys in action.
Do what now?
Watch you guys in action. Watch a ball game. The fans.
Yeah, we have actually good turnout at our
That's
games.
good.
Yeah,
I would
even
think so,
even away.
Because you're very
A
successful.
lot of parents come, grandparents, and then people, especially home games.
Mm-hmm.
We have some of the high school kids come to watch. So we
Mike,
have
we
we have a
appreciate-
little fan, some fans from the football team that comes and watch and cheers for them. So when they can.
Mike, thanks for joining us on the
Okay.
Spartan Sports Report. Always enjoy having you on, and congrats you. Good luck for the soccer team.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody, for watching us here on the Sports Report on TV3. Have a nice evening.